Hello everybody, I am back with another video. I'm going to be doing something a bit different from what I normally do. We're doing an analysis video for the upcoming main event of UFC 304, Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad 2. This is going to be an extremely entertaining fight, to say. I undoubtedly believe that it will end in a knockout for sure. And what can I say, man? You can literally hear it in my voice how excited I am to be talking about this fight. You know, for my first analysis video, I can't believe I'm doing something as godly as Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. Two guys that are just absolutely known for always finishing their opponents, always known for, giving it 100% and making it an absolute dogfight. And let's get into it. So let's go over these very, very up-to-date statistics that I got. This totally isn't from 2021 when they first fought. You got Belal Muhammad, who's 36 years old, versus Leon Edwards, who's 32. Actually, I will say that kind of surprised me a bit. I really would have thought the champion would have been a bit older, but it's cool. I mean, Belal Muhammad still appears to be doing pretty good, even though he's definitely in the latter half of the mid-30 range. Leon Edwards, I would say, they are in welterweight, so I think that they definitely could have a bit more longevity than the lower weight classes, as it's commonly known. But Leon Edwards definitely has a few more good years on him for sure. And we can shit on him being inactive all we want, but that is actually good for him because it gives him time to recover. He isn't constantly burning his body. He isn't constantly just completely destroying himself in training camp, cutting all that weight and whatnot. Gives him a chance to skill build and just maintain his physical health. So I will draw attention to the height. That's very inaccurate for Leon Edwards' spot. He's not 6 foot tall. If you remember, Kamaru Usman was 6 foot tall and Leon Edwards was a bit taller than him. Leon Edwards is actually 6'2" on the official statistics, so keep note of that. Also, I would like to mention that, he's going to be 3 inches taller than Muhammad, and Leon Edwards is actually a pretty big welterweight. I truly think that his size was a big factor as to why he was able to be able to keep it on the feet against Usman, and on top of that, have some good moments in the grappling exchanges as well. He's a big guy. I'm actually kind of surprised at how he's able to make weight and honestly do it to the level to where he doesn't look like he's completely draining himself. From recent memory, I believe he's had pretty good weigh-ins. He hasn't completely destroyed himself. So it looks promising for him, I'd say, being a guy that's pretty big for a welterweight, and then on top of that, carrying all that size and being a good striker. 74-inch reach versus a 72-inch reach for Belal Muhammad. Leon Edwards has a longer reach, definitely works towards him because, he's a striker. Belal's going to be looking to close the distance and shoot for takedowns. So, This actually, I will say, kind of surprised me a bit, looking at their striking and wrestling statistics. So you have, for strikes landed per minute, Belal Muhammad has 4.55 versus Leon Edwards, who has 2.75. That, like I said, is very surprising that Belal Muhammad, the grappler, has more strikes landed per minute than Leon Edwards, the striker. But then again, when you actually watch the fights, Belal is known for having a lot of pace and pressure. He is known for using a lot of volume to overwhelm his opponents. I mean, people make jokes about him not knocking people the fuck out because he's kind of always throwing a shit ton of shots, and even though they're not, like I said, hurting the guy and putting him away, it's definitely wearing at them, it's definitely breaking them down, and it's exhausting them, it's fatiguing them. That's really his game, is to just drain you and sap you of your energy. Leon Edwards is more of a counter striker. He does like to use a lot of distance management, and he likes to keep people at range. And he has some pretty good counters, I will say that. He has some pretty sweet boxing. Obviously, he has really good kicks. He has good leg kicks. He's good at throwing the low kicks, and on top of that, the oblique stomps. He can mix it up by going to the body and the head. He's just all around a good striker. 53% striking accuracy for Leon Edwards versus 43% for Belal Muhammad. Like we said, Belal Muhammad has more volume, but that doesn't mean he's more accurate. Leon Edwards, he's a counter striker, so he's obviously going to be landing more consistently, even if he isn't throwing as much. And I guess, yeah, something else that I will say surprised me a bit is that Belal Muhammad has a better striking defense statistic than Leon Edwards, especially given that Belal likes to press forward a lot and like put a lot of pressure, so that kind of normally would put you within range to get hit. And Leon Edwards, like I said, he's a counter striker who likes to move backwards, so normally that would equate to you having fairly good defense. But Belal has better striking defense, at least on paper, so who knows how that could play a factor into that fight. We shall see. Takedowns average, yeah, obviously Belal Muhammad is going to have more takedowns attempted or on average than Leon Edwards. 1.9, almost 2 takedowns per 15 minutes against Leon Edwards, who will on average shoot 1 takedown per 15 minutes, which, like I said, Leon Edwards has pretty good grappling too, due to his size, in my opinion. You've seen him in fights against Usman and Covington. He was able to take them down, and he was able to hold a good position over them for a certain period of time. So he does have pretty good grappling skills. But Belal Muhammad is a very good chain wrestler. Just like his striking, he relies a lot on volume, overwhelming the guy, just shooting, and yeah, just constantly wearing at the guy. You know, it's very similar to that Dagestani style wrestling, except in the sense where he doesn't, as you can see on the statistics, he doesn't really attempt submissions as often. And yeah, his ground and pound it's not bad. It's pretty good. But it doesn't necessarily have as much potency as some of these other guys. So Belal Muhammad, we're going to be looking at his strengths and his weaknesses. I know I said I forgot his name. I was just fucking around, remember the name. So as I mentioned before, yeah, one of his biggest strengths is his pace and pressure, his ability to overwhelm guys with large volumes of strikes, ground and pound, wrestling, the whole 9 fucking yards. His kicking game, this is something I haven't talked about. Belal Muhammad does have a pretty good kicking game, and I've seen that he's been developing it quite well, especially in his last fight against Gilbert Burns when he was just constantly spamming that fucking left roundhouse kick. I think it was the left one, right? Because he was aiming for his right shoulder, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, he's got a pretty solid kicking game, and for a wrestler, being a wrestler, it definitely helps because, yeah, being that he's a grappler, he isn't going to have to worry about the threat or the risk of a takedown as often as a striker would. So it gives him more leeway for being able to throw that, and just adds another dimension to his game, gives him another tool, and makes him an all-around more well-rounded fighter. Thirdly, I put Team Dagestan. So honestly, I would say this is a bit of a question mark because it would highly depend on whether or not he also has them in his corner. Because Belal Muhammad got the first finish in years against Sean Brady, and that was when he had Habib in his corner, and Habib was honestly a great fucking coach, I will say as well. But I really think he played a pivotal role in sharpening Belal's mentality, so that way he could actually be tenacious for the finish, unlike how he normally was, because he was really putting the pressure on Brady. I'm pretty sure he TKO'd him with strikes. I'm pretty sure he TKO'd him with boxing, just like throwing and throwing and throwing. And yeah, like I said, he finished him. That's not really something that you see from Belal that often. So kudos to him. I think that having the guys from Dagestan, Russia definitely helped him in shaping his mentality, and of course just having good training partners, and having those guys that are sharpening you not only mentally but physically as well. And going to his weaknesses, I will say I put his boxing, and I'm going to dissect it into 2 parts. I think his offense is a bit basic, I will say. I think that, he throws a lot of straight shots, and, he throws the basic 1-2s, not bad, right? Doesn't have a lot of variation, though. He doesn't really have, too many combinations. He kind of just throws it to put pressure on the guy. And I will say that his weakness in the boxing more so lies with his defense, because I noticed that he doesn't really take his head off the center line, and he kind of just leaves his head there to get hit. Also, yeah, he does get tagged. He does get hit. Gilbert Burns was hitting him with an overhand right a lot. Before getting fucking drowned by Belal. Sean Brady was landing a couple good shots on him. I think that Belal's chin is definitely there to get hit. And we'll see if Leon Edwards can take advantage of that with his counterboxing. Second weakness, his lack of finishability, which once again could have a bit of a question mark behind that, because that could largely depend on whether or not he has Team Dagestan in his corner. He does pressure a lot, but he doesn't really have enough aggression. He doesn't, on average, really have enough aggression to put the guy away. He usually just exhausts them, and does just enough to where they can't really comfortably coast, or they can't really do anything to win. It's kind of just like, he's how do I word this, bro? It's like, I don't know how to say it, because he puts a lot of pressure on guys. He has a lot of striking volume. He has takedown volumes, but he still doesn't finish the guy. It's kind of fucking weird. I mean, I guess you could attribute it to, not having a lot of pop in his hands, but I mean, shoot, man, it's weird. Even if you don't have pop, you usually, if you throw enough volume, you're usually able to finish them. Like I said, it might be a mental thing. His third weakness is that, I noticed his bad habit, which could go into his boxing defense as well. He has a habit of moving back in a straight line whenever his opponents open up with strikes. I think that that's something that could be used against him in order to set up like a trap or something like that. Leon Edwards could set it up with the fucking head kick, That could always happen. But it's just, you look at me, I'm like the fucking best striking coach of all time, obviously. I definitely know everything I'm fucking talking about. Like, if Belal had me in his corner, he 100% would be winning this fight. And I'm just saying, bro, he moves back in a straight line too much, bro. Real shit. Keys to victory for Belal Muhammad. As I said before, volume. Throw a bunch of fucking shots. Shoot a bunch of fucking takedowns. Overwhelm Leon with so much shit that he can't even fucking counter properly. He can't even function. Just overload his senses, bruh. I think that would work for you. You're obviously, history has shown that you have the cardio to be able to do that. So, by all means, go with it, bro. Secondly, close distance to put pressure. This goes in hand with, like I said, volume. If Belal can close the distance on Leon Edwards, it takes away a big aspect of his game, which is, distance management. Edwards likes to keep the guy at range, so that way he can pick his shots and hit him with good, clean ones. If Belal's just constantly overwhelming him and closing distance on him, Leon isn't going to be able to measure him that well. He isn't going to be able to set up his kicks as well. I guess Leon does have good knees, but what I'm saying is that if Belal were to put pressure on him and close the distance on him, it would take away some of Leon's weapons. Thirdly, mix it up. I said it before, man. Belal has some pretty good fucking kicks, and on top of him having good wrestling, it takes away most of the risk of him being taken down. And he also has really good stance switching as well. I really think he was throwing off Gilbert Burns when he was just constantly switching stances and blasting kicks from both sides. So if he mixes it up, throws all those things together, kicks, switching stances, and the wrestling, it'll make him harder to predict. And Leon Edwards will definitely have some trouble with that. Now we have to get to the autistic man, the main man, the fucking eye poke king, Mr. Rocky Edwards. You gotta pull yourself out of the fire, son! Don't let him bully you! Okay, I had to get that out. Leon Edwards, let's talk about his strengths. Firstly, like I said, he has good fucking striking, dude. I was watching a video of him, not video of him, I was watching fights of him, and he, honestly, I would say he's a bit like a better version of Adesanya. Slightly better, I will say, slightly better, because he still doesn't really follow up and finish his opponents like Adesanya does, but I would say that he has more variety in his shots than Adesanya. Adesanya kind of, as he matured in his career, started relying a lot more on low kicks, while Leon Edwards, at the ripe old age of 32 years old, still mixes it up. He still kicks to the legs. He has good oblique stomps, like I said. He kicks you to the body. He has that good roundhouse kick to the fucking head. He has a lot of diversity in his strikes. He has good counterboxing as well. And he does, even though I said that it would be good for Belal to put pressure on Leon, Leon does have some pretty good strikes in the clinch as well. I do remember he hurt Usman with a knee to the head when Usman had him in the clinch. I mean, he does have a couple good elbows here and there. He doesn't really throw them too much, but he does have them in his arsenal just in case. And he's an all-around well-rounded striker. Good counterboxing, good kicks, some attacks in the clinch. He's got tools in every realm. He has good wrestling as well. Like I said, he's 6'2" at 170 pounds, going against guys like Usman, who's 6 foot tall, and Belal Muhammad, who is 5'11". He also went against Colby Covington, who is also a wrestler and is also 5'11" like Belal Muhammad. On average, he's bigger than most of the guys he fights. So not even just like I said from a height perspective, he's fucking jacked, dude. He has a good amount of muscle on him. When you see him in the clinch and when you see him into wrestling, he's a pretty strong fucking guy to deal with. He got a body triangle over Usman in the first round, put him at threat of being submitted. After Covington took him down, he was able to get back up to his feet and then shoot a takedown on Covington and take him down just to prove a point. He definitely has good wrestling in his tool bag for sure. Next up, I just mentioned it, but yeah, he says fucking size. He's a big ass welterweight, bro. He uses that shit to his advantage. He keeps you at a distance using his height, and when you're grappling with him, he's pretty strong, so it's hard to fucking deal with him in that aspect as well. So going to his weaknesses, and I will say, Leon's a boring ass fucking fighter, but it is pretty hard to find a weakness with him. He definitely deserves to be in the championship rankings despite all this fence grabbing bullshit. But I would say, yeah. Oh, I just fucking burped just now, fellas. Okay. I think he gets comfortable for sure. Like I said, he doesn't really, just like fucking Belal, he doesn't really finish guys too much, but where Belal pressures guys and still doesn't really finish them, Leon Edwards is perfectly fine with keeping you at a distance and just picking you apart if it means he's beating you on points. Which, it's good for him, it's good on him. Dude, big ass fucking jet just went past, dude. Jesus. Fucking battle jet, bro. Going to war, bitch! Okay. Yeah, like I said, he has good counterboxing, he has good kicks, like he has the tools necessary to fucking finish somebody, bro. He just doesn't really use it that much. He has some good pop on his hands too. Like I've seen him clip guys with good shots, and it definitely looks like they can feel it. Bro, it's honestly a mental thing on his part too. It seems like he fights to the level that his opponent brings him to, and he doesn't really take it up a notch. If he's just comfortably beating you on the scorecard, she'll stick with that shit. And his other weakness, yes, he can get pressured against the cage. That's like whenever you see Leon Edwards look vulnerable, it's usually when he's pressed up against the fence. You saw that in the second Usman fight, where Usman was just pressing him up against the fence, hitting him with the dirty boxing. As inconsistent as it was, Colby did have a couple good moments against him when he pushed Leon up against the fence, when he was pressuring Leon. I think that, if we're looking at film of Leon, that's when he looks his most vulnerable, when he has a guy just pressing him up against the fence, because he's vulnerable to getting taken down. He's vulnerable to somebody closing the distance on him. It takes away one of his tools. So you pressure him up against the fence, you take away his distance. Keys to victory for this fucker. Distance management, as I've said like 1,000 fucking times, he relies a lot on keeping the guy at range and picking him apart. Secondly, countering Belal coming in. I did say that Belal has a bit of a weakness with his boxing defense, and he leaves his head there to get fucking hit. He doesn't take it off the center line. I think that if Edwards can time Belal while he's trying to close the distance, he could counter him. And yeah, that'd be pretty good for him. It definitely plays into his style as well. And 3, to shut down the wrestling of Belal, which I think the wrestling is probably going to be Belal's biggest tool with this, because it just gives him another dimension to his game. It will give Leon something to worry about. Like, it makes it harder for Leon to predict what Belal's going to do, because he'll have to worry about either kicks or a takedown, or maybe some fucking sloppy ass 1-2 or whatever, But if Leon is able to shut down the wrestling, which, as I said, big guy, pretty strong dude, has good grappling as well, then that would take away a big part of Belal's game, which would make it a lot harder to beat him. So who do we fucking got for this? Honestly, bro, this fight's boring as shit. No, seriously. Okay. This fight is going to be very, very fucking technical, okay? These guys are both at the top of the division. Fucking Leon hasn't lost in years. Belal hasn't lost in years. I mean, they're both on fucking phenomenal win streaks as well. I'm trying to sound like Dana White promoting this shit when I just like dead ass don't give a shit. Okay, no, but seriously. This will be a very technical fight. Both guys definitely have clear routes to victory, but I think it largely depends on who is able to shut down the other person's weapons. If I had to predict it, I would say it might be Leon Edwards by decision. But who knows what fucking happens, bro. Maybe Belal has like some fucking pop in his hands that night. We'll fucking see, you know? I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out for sure. I'm also looking forward to making more analysis videos so that way I can like fucking talk more comfortably and shit, you know? I definitely think if I'm doing a fight that I'm more interested in, I'll probably be able to talk more comfortably. Let's talk about like that fucking Adesanya Duplessis fight. That's definitely gonna be good for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to that. All in all, thank you for listening to me fucking stutter about Belal Muhammad and Leon Rocky Edwards. We'll see what happens. Comment who you think is going to win in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video. Or you won't see me because I don't fucking show my face.